Because what does that now mean in terms of my value? What value do I bring to the table if I'm not providing and I'm not taking care of my child? Even if it is at my detriment, I am going to do what the world, society, my family, my friends, everybody else is expecting me to do, no matter what. Hey mama, welcome back to the Whole Mama Show. I'm your host Aisha O'Reilly, and we're revealing the untold stories of motherhood. Today I wanted to chat about something that was sparked by a clip that I recently watched of Michelle Obama on her podcast, and she had Barack Obama as a guest. And she basically shared how when their girls were, younger, Barack would take over the night shift. And it just got me thinking about how still in 2025, how rare yet powerful that kind of support is, and how much it says about what it means for a mother to let go. This topic is something that I'm really, really passionate about, because as we know, the world still believes that the nurturing, the raising, the taking care of children is completely the woman's responsibility. That's why I said earlier, in 2025, it's still quite a revolutionary thing to talk about, unfortunately. Yes, there are, of course, men who are very hands-on, as they call it, equal partners in terms of raising their children in a hands-on approach. The thing is, I think it's fair to say that the majority of the world, that's just not how it is. And also just traditionally, it's not how it was. A lot of us were raised by our mothers, and our fathers were the providers only, and they stuck to those roles very, 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 very strictly. It's something that I can personally relate to, because even now in real life conversations that I have with some people, fellow women call me lucky that I can leave to go home to Tanzania for 2 weeks and not have to stress about the kids at home. I mean, it's something that I poke fun at, and I've recently poked fun at on my social media, a reel that I recently shared where I sort of role played other people asking me, who's taking care of your kids? You're here. What are they doing? Who's taking care of them? And I said, well, yeah, they have another parent, guys. Like, that is who is taking care of them. And I've had conversations where women have asked me, are you comfortable with that? Or they'd like to joke that the father is the fourth child. And I make a point to always correct them. One, I don't consider myself lucky, and I don't consider him helping me, because help still infers that it is actually still my job and he's helping me out in my responsibilities. And I usually challenge those comments with, okay then, so I also help him bring in an income. I also help him provide. For some reason, that's uncomfortable for people, because it's not seen as something that you just do it. As a woman, you just do it. Whereas as a man, we're still sort of expecting much less from them when it comes to the hands-on approach of fathering. There's also the parts of the conversations where women ask me or tell me, he's not going to be able to do it. I know my child. I know that she's not going to be able to handle it just being her and daddy or whatever it is. And for me, that's what I really wanted to chat about today, because in order for us as women, as mothers, to have equal partners in this mad adventure that we call parenting, we also need to let go of some of the control and some of the expectations that the world places on us, as well as we place on ourselves and to each other as fellow women and mothers. I know that letting go is one of the hardest parts of motherhood. I mean, from the moment our babies are born, society has drilled it in us that we are the default parent. We're the ones who carry the baby. We're the one who knows best. And biologically, sure, there's some truth to that. Our instincts, are applauded, the motherly instinct and everything. And that's because obviously obviously our bonds are very strong naturally. But when that belief turns into pressure to do everything, honestly, I feel that that's so detrimental, especially to the mother. So sure, letting go feels really, really scary. It almost feels like you're kind of relinquishing control. And I feel that just as men have been conditioned and programmed to feel valuable in the role of a provider, that's where their value comes from. Women, conversely, have been conditioned to believe that their value comes from nurturing and taking care of children. And so when we are not doing that, even if it is somebody else who is the other parent, I think some of us struggle with that idea of relinquishing a bit of control, because what does that now mean in terms of my value? What value do I bring to the table if I'm not providing and I'm not taking care of my child? Even if it is at my detriment, I am going to do what the world, society, my family, my friends, everybody else is expecting me to do, no matter what. I feel like a lot of us have fallen into that vicious cycle that we are resentful to our partners because, let's be real, compared to us, not much has really changed for them. Physically, emotionally, of course, there are some changes, but the less hands-on the father is, the less his life has really, really changed, especially compared to ours as the moms. So now we resent them for that. But then because we don't give them that space to actually be hands-on dads, they continue not being hands-on dads. But then the cycle just continues because now we're tired, we're not getting sleep, we're not getting rest, we're not getting alone time. I mean, it's something that is almost laughed at, that, mom hasn't showered in 3 days. For me, I think that's mad. How are you not showering? That's not a break. That's basic hygiene that you, as a human being, have a right to. And so many of us feel like if we're not doing everything for our baby, for our children, we're inadequate. We're failing. We're not doing our jobs. And so therefore, we feel that we're not bringing any value. We're useless. Because if we're not rocking the baby to sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning, who's going to do it? If we're not the ones answering the, midnight cry, are we less of a mother? So these are often silent questions that a lot of us moms, myself included, carry, especially in the first few weeks and months of motherhood. But what I loved about that clip is that Michelle also mentioned that she herself needed to work on letting go. And I love that because I wouldn't say it completely flips the script, but it does look at mothers and women, sort of places accountability on them for why some men, not all, this is a generalization, okay, that some men may feel that it's not their place. And some men who want to be more hands-on aren't given that space to be. And so I think that's something that I've had conversations about offline as well to some moms, that they resent their husbands and they do this and they do that, but then they'll admit that when the husband wants to try and do something, the response is, oh no, but he doesn't do it the way that I do it. And so this is something that I have spoken about in more detail in a couple of other episodes of my podcast, as well as a blog post that I have. I will try and find the link and link it for you in the notes, that we need to give them that space. Because society already automatically expects us as the moms to do everything, we naturally become experts in our children because we have the time to be with them. So for me, something that I really had to let go of is, for example, the order of how to change my children's nappies. When I first became a mom, I also thought, no, but he has to do it A, B, and C. Whereas for him, he's doing it D, E, F. But at the end of the day, the outcome is still the same. The nappy is changed. I had to realize that as long as my child is healthy, still clean, eating, still fed, all of that, then I cannot keep my child to myself. And Michelle also mentioned in that clip, she needed to trust that she would wake up after a long overdue, much needed nap, that this guy, which I found funny when she says, this guy that I'm handing over my baby to will keep my child alive and safe, for me to be able to rest and therefore continue my motherhood journey after that's happened. It's the acknowledgement that we are human beings. We're not machines. Rest isn't optional, it's essential. Our partners are not babysitters, they are fellow parents. They're equally capable of taking care of feeding a child. So here's where the tension comes in. Letting go isn't just about us deciding to, just hand things over. It's also about the environment that we find ourselves in. Does it make it possible for us to do that? Is the father taking enough time off work? Does he have the time that he needs to have to spend time with you and the baby? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say paternity leave around the world is atrocious. Generally, there is just no acknowledgement of the importance a father's role plays in the lives of a postpartum mom and a new baby. But then also, just from an emotional and mental perspective, our partnerships also need to be healthy. We as mothers wouldn't feel comfortable. We wouldn't be able to so-called release control if we didn't feel that it was safe. I mean, we can't be sleeping, lying awake, worried if, the baby will be fed, comforted, changed, or protected. We just can't. Our brains are just not wired that way. Yeah, letting go is really hard. It's really, really hard. And it's even harder when we don't fully trust that our partners or our systems will hold things together while we step back. That's not just a personal issue. I think that is the case. But I think overall, if we really took a closer look at it, it's more systemic. We tell mothers to ask for help, but do we make sure that reliable help is readily available? We encourage fathers to be hands-on and be involved, but we still glorify the bare minimum that they do. Whereas the same things are just expected from a mother. I believe that until we shift that culture and that understanding of things, mothers will always feel torn between that desperate need for rest and the fear of what will happen if they are not holding everything down. So what do we do? For one, I think we need to change the narrative. Mothers need to stop being seen as the only pair of safe hands. Fathers need to be trusted. Fathers need to be trained and expected to do more of the hands-on parenting. Not just once in a while, once a month, when she might want to pop out to the grocery store for a break, Aside from the father, communities in general, we need to rally around mothers. We need to be readily available to step in and help. We need to offer help and not wait to be asked for help. That's my personal opinion, because I know as women, just in general, whether you're a mother or not, we are also conditioned just to get on with it, just to do things. So it's really, really hard. I'll put my hand up to admit I'm one of those women that I find it so difficult to ask for help. I could be drowning. I could be gasping for air. But for me to say, hey, I need a little bit of help here, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And so I think if you are part of a mom's village, don't wait until she asks you for help. Please don't wait. Please just do. I loved it when I was able to actually communicate that to my friends and family after I had my first child, that, they asked me, how could we have supported you better? And I was able to say, look, I really struggle with this, and I need you to know that, because it means that I need you to just do. I need you to just do. Please don't ask me or tell me, oh yeah, let me know if there's anything that I can do. The same things that need to be done during a normal day still need to happen. We still need to eat. I still need to rest. Let me know, by the way, if you would like me to delve a little bit further into how you can better support a new mama in your life, because I feel that's something that a lot of people, they want to do, but they just don't know where to start. So letting go is really important, obviously, for the father to also be able to bond with the child, but also for us not to burn out. It's so easy as moms to lose ourselves in motherhood. And ironically, when we do everything for our kids, I believe we are not the best moms. We are less patient, we are less present, and we are just genuinely not enjoying motherhood as much as we could be. But the thing is, when we do let go, even in small little ways, we can at least breathe a bit, and we reclaim our energy, and we allow our children to see that love and care doesn't come from just one parent, but from a family, a partnership, and a community. So the more we normalize stories like Michelle and Barack's, the more we remind ourselves that motherhood doesn't mean martyrdom. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, mamas and aunties. Have you struggled to let go? And what helps you feel safe enough to release that control over your baby or your children? Thanks so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't yet, please remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell below, and share this video with a mama friend or your partner or your social media. I am on all social media platforms. You can find me at Aisha and Life. Drop me a line, drop me a DM. Let's get talking. Please let me know. Drop a comment in the comments box below. Have you struggled to let go? Are you currently struggling? Or if you're like me and you've kind of, gone through it and you're on the other side now, how did you do that so that we can help the next mama who reads your comments? Again, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Aisha Chuma O'Reilly, and I hope this episode has left you feeling a little bit more whole, mama.